What's going on, guys? It's River Team Arsenal back with another video. Today we'll be doing part 2 of our how to play One Piece segment of the channel. Last time we covered the essentials as far as what do our 61 cards in total do for our deck as far as leaders, Don cards, the actual main deck, etc. Today we'll be covering the game preparation, the phases, as well as terms such as tapping, resting, etc. But before we get into it, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe to your friends about us. At the time of recording this video, we have just reached our 400th subscriber, meaning we have a giveaway coming at the end of this week at the time of recording this video. So make sure you're subscribed and you're there for the 500th. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, guys, so on the screen, you see are the areas of the placement for each set card for the game of One Piece. On the far left side, you see where your life will be placed. Below that, you see your Don deck or your energy. Right next to your Don deck, you see your cost area, which is where your Don goes specifically either there or in the Don deck or under a character, which we'll get to. Right next to the cost area is your trash area. Think of this as in Yu-Gi-Oh! Your graveyard or any other card game you know it as a trash pile regardless. Above the trash pile, trash area, is the deck area. This is where your main deck goes. Next to that is your stage area, which if you were here in the last video we covered, this is basically a continuous spell or a field spell in this game if you're trying to compare it to Yu-Gi-Oh! And then right next to that is your leader or your commander. If you're trying to compare this to maybe Cardfight Vanguard, Magic the Gathering, etc. And then finally, the very last area we're going to cover is right above that is the character area. This is where your characters go from your main deck. You're allowed to only have 5 at a time, but if you're trying to put 1 down and you already have 5 there, you just simply remove 1 character from the board and put it into the trash pile and then play another character in its place. Now that we have that covered, we can move on to game preparation. First and foremost, you want to make sure your deck is well shuffled as well as your Don deck and place them in their designated areas. Make sure your leader is placed in its leader area, and then you guys decide who goes first. This could be through rock, paper, scissors, dice roll, etc. Any means to make sure you guys figure that out. After this, you guys will draw 5 cards from the top of your deck. Now, the next step is something, if you haven't played a card game like Magic the Gathering, Dragon Ball Super, etc., you wouldn't know what this part is if you strictly play Yu-Gi-Oh! This is basically what you would know as a mulligan, where you may choose to shuffle back your previously drawn hand and then draw 5 more cards from the top of your deck to basically get a refresh hand and a better hand. You only can do this once during the game. But in like Commander, Magic, etc., you might do it more than once. Same thing with Super. It depends on what style you play or what format you play. After this, you place cards equal to the life value of your leader from the top of your deck to your life area face down. Now, if you guys remember from the very first video we did, we covered how to read your cards, especially leader cards, etc. But to just refresh, the leader card's life, you can see is indicated at the very bottom right-hand corner of the card. In the case of our leader, Law, we have 4 life. So in this case, we'll be putting 4 cards face down from the top of our deck into our life area. And then from here, the player who decided to go first will start their turn. Now, just to recap as far as our victory conditions, your goal in this game is either to successfully attack your opponent's leader when their life is at 0 or the life card's at 0, or if your opponent decks out or you have no cards left in their actual main deck. Now, moving from that, we'll move into our phases. Now, there are 5 phases in this game: the refresh phase, the draw phase, the Don phase, the main phase, and the end phase. First, we'll cover the refresh phase. Simply, you return all of your attached Don cards on your field to your cost area, or you set all rest cards on your field as actives. As for the part about returning all attached Don cards from your field to the cost area, we'll cover that a little bit in the main phase. For now, we will simply cover what it means to rest a card or when a card is set back to active. As you see in the diagram I have for you guys right here, there's an example of an active card and a rested card. If you think of this in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's simply attack position and defense position, but I shouldn't really explain this for any other card game outside of that. But if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, this simply means if the card is set in active, you just played it, or it simply has not been used for any set purpose. When the card is rested, that means you either have attacked with it, used one of its abilities, etc. This is also the same for your Don cards as well, Now, moving into our draw phase is simple. You simply just drawing one card from the top of your deck. And for most card games, when you're going first, you do not draw a card. Sorry, it's just the way it is for all card games. I'm sorry. Dawn phase. Now, this is where we actually first start getting our Dawn played onto the board from our Dawn deck. If you go first, you simply get to place one Dawn from the top of your deck, your Dawn deck, to the cost area. However, after this turn, you're immediately allowed to place 2 each Dawn phase. Now, moving to the main phase, this is the most important phase you have, because here you're allowed to play cards, attach Dawn, use card effects, as well as attack. Now, to simply play your card, all you have to do is rest X amount of Dawn for its cost, which again is at the top left-hand corner of the card. Then you simply place the card either into the character area, stage area, or somewhere in between if you're using event cards. An example here, we have a card that costs 3. To play it, we simply are putting our Dawn, 3 Dawn, into rest position and playing the cards to the character area. Moving on to attaching Dawn cards. You only can attach active Dawn cards to your characters or your leader cards. And during your turn only, as you see on the Dawn card, it says during your turn, you gain 1,000 power, plus 1,000 power. Now, if the card that the Dawn is under happens to leave the field, the attached Dawn then is rested and placed back into your cost area. And keep in mind, like I said before, at the beginning of each refresh phase, you return all attached Dawn back to your cost area. Moving to number 3, using a card's effects. Simply to use card effects, you have to follow or fulfill the conditions of the cards. Like I said, we already covered this previously in our first video where we talked about Dawn X1, Dawn -1, active mains, etc. So we won't really cover it too much here, just for sake of time. And then finally, attack. This is where you're able to actually attack other rested cards with an active character or an active leader on your side of the field, as well as attacking your opponent's leader. Keep in mind, characters cannot attack the same turn they are played unless they have abilities such as Rush, which allows them to be played and actually attack on their first turn. Players also cannot attack on their very first turn. Now, let's move into the details of attacking as well as battles. Battles goes by 4 steps: the attack step, the block step, the counter step, and the damage step. Let's cover the attack step real quick. Now, again, in order to attack, you must rest one active character or leader from your field and designate a target for the attack. This is where any when attacking effects or abilities will be activated and resolved. Moving on to number 2, the block step. This is where a player is actually allowed to use their character's blocking abilities when they are attacked. Simply use a block ability, you simply rest said blocker, and instead of the attack target that was originally chosen by the opponent, the blocker becomes the new attack target. Now moving on to number 3, counter step. The player being attacked may play a counter card from their hand. Now this is on the part that's very important. On a character card, if it has a counter, it will have it on the left side of the card going upward where it says counter, in this case counter plus 1,000. On an event card, it will simply say in the text counter in red. And finally, moving on to number 4, the damage step, where you will simply compare the power of the attacking card and the defending card, and the attacking card will win if its power is greater than or equal to the power of the card that's being attacked, leading to one of the following results. If a leader is attacked, the defeated player takes 1 damage or takes 1 life card. If a character is attacked, the defeated character is KO'd and trashed. And then finally, if the attacking character is defeated, nothing happens. And from here, we will cover triggers. When your leader takes damage, add 1 card from your life area to your hand. Then if that card happens to have an ability known as trigger, which will be in yellow, you may reveal the card and activate its trigger effect. And again, if a player doesn't have any cards in their life area and their leader takes damage, they lose the game. And finally, our last phase is the end phase, where all during this turn effects are ended. They conclude and you will pass on to your opponent. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys learned something from this one. If I missed anything or you have any questions, just leave in the comment section below. Like I said, in the next video, we actually be doing a live game where you guys actually can see how we actually play the card game. But it's been Ren from Team Russell signing out. Peace and have a great day.